Joining us now, we're so honored and pleased to have Mr. Marty Stuart, country music singer, songwriter, artiste extraordinaire.
Hi, Gerard.
It's great to have you,
Good
sir.
to be on your show, man.
Yeah, it is just so awesome to finally get to meet you. Have been a fan, and you're quite the. We're going to claim you. You're quite the Mississippi treasure.
I love Mississippi. I left here on Labor Day weekend when I was like 13 years old to go to Nashville just for the weekend, and it turned into a job, but I never surrendered Mississippi in my heart.
Well, you're awesome, and we appreciate you coming in and being with us here on Middays. I'm just looking here. You and I are the same age, roughly, so same year, born. How
come you look so much more rested and prosperous?
I don't know about that whatsoever. All right, so the Congress of Country Music is something that you are really spending a lot of time on and working on. Tell us about that.
I fell in love all over again with the legacy, creative legacy of our state. About 20 years ago, I'd pretty much checked off all the boxes when I left here as a kid that I wanted to do, and I thought, well, for the rest of your life, you better live up to what you want and believe in with all of your heart.
Yeah.
And I fell back in love with our state, and I started on the campus of Ole Miss. Dr. Kayat at the time gave me the run of the place to just have us to figure out the next part of my life. And I realized that no state on earth, no place on earth can boast and claim the creative legacy that this state has.
No doubt.
We have that in spades. Whatever we don't have, that makes up for it. And I thought I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to telling, preserving, promoting the creative legacy of our state. And I started looking for ways to do that. And the first thing, I think the last time I was in the studio, Phil Bryant and I came and we were promoting getting the historic country music trail up off the ground. And so we have, I think, 38 markers in the ground now and headed toward a whole lot more. But I have this collection of artifacts, like 20,000 pieces of Smithsonian-level country music treasures. I did not know what to do with them until I played in Indianola one afternoon with B.B. King. He invited me up to help him raise funds for the B.B. King Museum. On the way out of Indianola, I thought, okay, I think I know what to do. I want to go back home to Philadelphia and stage the spiritual home of country music. Because if you look at the state, the spiritual home of rock and roll is Tupelo, Elvis's birthplace. The spiritual home of the blues is B.B. King's place. The Grammys now on the campus of Delta State. North State zipped up, great, world class. Meridian has the Max, but we don't have a spiritual home for country music. So that's what we're working on in Philadelphia. Well,
I have seen the brochure and the renderings. It's just awesome, Marty.
Well, it's world class, and the world's going to come here to see it. It's not only a local and state treasure, but it's a national and international treasure that people, as they do, come to this state to see, where music comes from.
Yeah. And though Nashville is widely considered, of course, to be kind of the heart of country music, Mississippi is blessed with incredibly talented and successful country music artists.
This is the land of Jimmy Rogers. He is the father of country music, Meridian, Mississippi. He is the man. And people will come, they talk about, you do have Tammy Wynette, Charlie Pride, Marty Stuart, on and on, Steve Azar, on and on and on. And the beauty of it is it's not just the past we're talking about. There's people, Hardy, young guy from Philadelphia as well. He is blazing right now. And so it keeps happening. That's what I love about it. It keeps happening.
Yeah. All right, so we've got an event coming up tonight, downtown Jackson at the Westin. What's that all about?
Haley Barber and Marcia jumped in and chaired this thing. So we're raising funds for the Congress of Country Music. We're way down the road. We have phase one is pretty well done. We're renovating the Ellis Theater now. That's the cornerstone of our campus. And so we're just, the deal from here forward. It's about sticking your hand out and saying please. And so who better than Haley to help us out? So we have folks coming from Nashville to play music, and all kind of events happening tonight at the Westin Hotel.
Yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to being down there as well with the group. So
glad you're coming.
Yeah, looking forward to it for sure. So, all right, also you've got something else going on at 2 museums coming up in May, right?
It's called The World of Marty Stuart, 50 years worth of traveling and living. And I think the exhibit runs for pretty much a year. And I'm so honored that they're going to do this. And so they've been over to Philadelphia where everything is archived. Several times we've worked and helped them curate this. So it's a world-class exhibit.
Wow, that ought to be exciting as well. And the 2 museums, you've been there, of course.
They're
Marty.
beautiful.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's absolutely unbelievable. And that's the thing, people in the outside world, more than anything else, and you know this, they don't understand how deep and wide and forward-thinking and beautiful and wonderful Mississippi and Mississippi people are. And places like the 2 museums just help spell that out.
Totally agree. And I know you're a person that obviously traveled all over the place, and you run into people, and you represent us so well. You're such a great ambassador for the state. But there's a misconception out there about Mississippi, but it's held by people who've never been here for the most part.
A perfect example, my buddy Dan McGinn. If you look up honoryourhometown.com, it is a campaign that we're working on. Ken Burns, myself, and Dan McGinn started Honor Your Hometown, and it is profound who showed up to do this. Dan McGinn had never been to the state of Mississippi. He's 67 years old. This goes back to last spring. So he flew his little bird down to Philadelphia, and I picked him up and showed him the Neshoba County Fair, the Choctaw Fair, out on the edge of town, the marker where the 3 civil rights workers were honored that were murdered in Philadelphia in '64. Then showed him Philadelphia, and Philadelphia people took him to Williamsville, and he said, I am one of the most well-traveled people in the world. I've never been to this state, and he left here in total love. And I finished him off by sending him home on his Learjet with 2 bologna sandwiches from Williamsville.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
But I mean, it's the people more than anything else.
No doubt.
It is the genuine love of the people and just the authenticity of the people. That's what draws me back time and time and time again. And just when I think I don't have time to come home, it's when I need to come home the most, because it re-inspires me.
That's awesome to hear. But do you not take a little bit of a sense of pleasure, Marty, when people are introduced or they see it firsthand and their attitude totally changes? Like, well, we try to tell you.
I remember in the early 70s, I was playing in Lester Flatt's band. And Lester was a well-loved, revered Grand Ole Opry star at the end of his career. But we played one concert at Michigan State University. It was the weirdest thing for kids that buy talent for their colleges. Yep. And it was Lester Flatt, Chick Corea, and Kool and the Gang. And they're going to laugh us off the stage. But we got out there, and the kids got it. And we encored like 9 times in 45 minutes. And the next day, Lester was booked on rock festivals and college campuses all over America. But when we would go to those kind of places that they had never heard bluegrass music before, and you could just see these kids in the front row not knowing what was hitting them, and it was like almost a conversion in church. Just like, man, I just want to go say, go ahead and let it into your heart.
Isn't that awesome?
And when it happens, it makes such a difference in your life, you know? And I feel the same way about Mississippi. When people finally get here and see the truth, you know, then leave, because there'd be too many people here if you all come here and stay. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of a well-kept secret in that respect, and good folks like you that get out and tell the story and bring people here and expose them, it helps us a lot, and we just got to keep doing that. That's the main thing, and you do it. You obviously do it through your music.
Well, I love it, and you'll see tonight. You mentioned Nashville. I love Nashville. Sure, it's been so good to me. But Nashville, the country music industry that I joined when I was a kid, was pretty much it was an industry, but it was a mom and pop industry. Yeah. And that is no such thing now. It is a global blue chip industry now. Billions of dollars flow through the country music account. Sure. But there's no place for kids who have traditional country music in their heart to develop and to touch the real stuff. I got you. And so that's one of the things I love about this state is if you're going to play the blues, you can find it here. If you're going to play country music, come see us. All right. That is fantastic. Marty, it's been great having you in the studio. Thank you, Gerard.
Again, you are a Mississippi treasure. We are proud of you, sir, and look forward to seeing you tonight.
Back at you. Thanks for coming.
Marty Stuart has been our guest here in the Element Wealth Studios. Middays will come right back. Stay with us.
From the poor side of town.